Today we gotta address some issues. Specifically, some issues with a dirt bike that I rebuilt in the last video.
This is my 2004 YZF 250 that I paid $600 for. I bought this bike with a seized engine, and in the last video we completely tore apart the engine, replaced the crank, piston, rings, all new gaskets and seals.
Would you look at that?
This thing runs excellent, but we did develop an issue with the clutch.
My clutch is not disengaging. So yeah, I completely rebuilt the engine on this bike. New crank, bearings, seals, gaskets, piston, rings. And I put it back together, put it in gear. She stalled out. Turns out the clutch is not disengaging. I've already tried adjusting it as much as I can. I've inspected the cable. Everything is moving, but my clutch will not disengage. So I've looked at a bunch of videos, I've done a bunch of research, and I think I know what I got done wrong. In here is my clutch. There's a clutch basket with all the plates in it. There's a little spacer with splines in it. That spacer is supposed to go behind the clutch basket, and I put it on front of the clutch basket. I think that's what I got done wrong. I'm hoping that's it, because that's literally probably only like a half hour, 45-minute fix for me. And when we get this thing all buttoned up, then we can take it for a sensible rip. We got to put her through a few heat cycles, really break in that new engine, and then we can pull some wheelies for our feelies.
So let's drain the oil back out of her. Pop off our rear brake lever and remove the clutch cover. Remove the pressure plate. And remove the clutch.
Also, shout out Matthew over at Traction. He sent me out this stool. Definitely saves the back. I don't see anything wrong with the clutch plates. I'm pretty sure they're on the right order. But I'll show you now pretty soon what I got done here. I could have probably corrected this before I put it back together, but you know, you're excited and you want to get this all put together, and you're just giving her. So I got all my clutch discs off. They all look to be in good shape. There's still a lot of meat on the friction material. My pressure plate here looks great. Excellent. Looks perfect. All of the discs were in the correct way. I'm going to show you now very soon what I had done wrong. So after you take off this nut for the clutch basket, there's a little spline washer right here. Now that spline washer is supposed to go back here. It's supposed to go behind the clutch basket, not in front of it. Put our clutch basket back on now. Just take this back off. I guess this is the hub. I think I was calling this the basket, but I think this is the hub. That spline washer is supposed to go behind the hub, not in front of it. That would have been great to know a couple of days ago. Too bad I don't know what Google is. This needs to be torqued to a whopping 47 foot-pounds, according to ChatGPT. Click, click.
We got to fold down that lock washer.
Now I can start reinstalling these clutch discs.
Now we're going to put our pressure plate back on and bolt her down to the German torque spec, good and tight.
You can see the movement there when we're pulling in our clutch. So before I put on that cover, I'm just going to put it in gear. I'm going to pull it on the clutch, and we're going to try to roll it back and forth, see if the clutch disengages. So we're in neutral right now. You can see she can roll free enough. She's in gear now. Let's put it on the clutch. Would you look at that? We're in first gear, we're pulling on the clutch, and we're not engaged. But that's how you learn. You just do it and learn from your mistakes. Move on. I will definitely know for the next time. Jeez, you're freaking shit out of me.
I'll do that. Is that scary looking?
Yes. No.
Let's top her up with some fresh oil.
Got the clutch all back together. Seems to be working by just rolling her in gear. I'm going to start her up here now. I got my oil all topped up. And we're going to try her out. I'm probably going to have to readjust my clutch again because I did adjust it quite a bit. But let's try it. And I still got no front brakes, so I'm going to have to fix that. We're in gear. It moves. So I'm going to go ahead now. We're going to put this through a few heat cycles. And I'll pick you back up when we're ready to go for our first drive.
Nothing like a Kickstarter to the leg.
There's boots for that.
So the first drive went very well. We got all of our gears. Everything seems to be working right. Let's get back now, fix up these front brakes, and take this thing for a sensible rip.
I need some extensions. So I just come on in there, forgot all about that I had no front brakes, you know, plowed right into the sled. So we're going to tackle these front brakes next, but first we got to go pick up something. It's very cheap and I got a hard time turning stuff down. Put the boy.
I got no idea who this old fella is with the mail in his hand, but he stopped by on his walk to give us a hand. So thanks, buddy.
Would you look at that? This is a 2010 Can-Am Outlander 500. It's the XT, so it's got all the nice racks. It's got the big bumpers. She's a 2-up machine. And I got this thing for just 400 bucks. And if you're wondering how I got this for 400 bucks, it's because the ignition is all messed up and there's no keys. So I couldn't hear it running. But the guy said it did run. Anyways, that's my first Can-Am bike, so I don't really know much about it. I have priced up ignitions though. You can get full ignitions with keys on Amazon for like 40 bucks. I don't know if that's gonna be programmed or not. If any of you guys ride Can-Ams and you're familiar with them, let me know. If I buy a key and an ignition for that, do I need to bring that to the dealer to get it programmed or not? I don't really know why, but you can squeeze the brake all you like, no pressure. So let's take this bleeder screw here and loosen it up. We got fluid coming out. So maybe it's that master cylinder up here. I do have another one, if you remember that WR I bought a while back. So I think I'm just gonna rob the master cylinder off of the WR because our front brakes do work. And I'm gonna put it on here. All right, so I robbed the master cylinder off of that one. And it's pretty about the same, different color, no odds. And as you can see, this one got a custom bent lever.
So out with this old master cylinder and in with this brand used one. Lube up the old chain. So I'm going to go out now for a little ride. I'm going to attempt to do some wheelies. I haven't done a wheelie in about 10 years. I'm pretty rusty, I'm not going to lie. I thought I was going to be just get on it and go like I used to, but turns out 10 years of no dirt bike makes you pretty rusty. So enjoy me possibly wiping out. After a few times sawing her out, we're ready to rip. Travis Pastrami got nothing on me.
Wait till you get that 3-4 shift in the wheelie.
She's a certified ripper.
So this one here is done for now. We got some parts right here, and these parts are for, not the wife, but the Grizzly. So that's the next project on the list. Here's a little side note too. These 4-stroke bikes are barely worth repairing. That's honest to God. I paid $600 for that bike. Don't seem like a bad deal. I'm $1,000 into the engine parts. I'm about $100 in oil and filter. So that's $1,100 there. I fixed up those front brakes, but I robbed that master cylinder off of a bike that I have here. So that would probably be $100 at least if you bought it. So $1,200 in parts, $600 to buy the bike, $1,800. I did all the labor myself, and you can buy these bikes already running and driving for like $2,200. So are you really saving any money? And if the head was bad, just want to write this bike off, because you could just buy one cheaper than you can repair it for. Anyways, this won't be the last dirt bike I buy. There will be probably many, many more. Mainly just because I enjoy it myself. It's more of a labor of love, I guess. But if you're thinking about it yourself to pick one of these things up, make sure you get it cheap enough.
Is this thing on? Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.
A bit more better than that.
What do you want me to say? Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. I forgot what I was supposed to say.